Today we're going to do a few tips on picking out your LifeLike tree as well as shaping and maintaining it. First, I'm going to go through some of the basic differences in LifeLike Christmas trees. One you can look for is a hinged branch on the trees. Some trees have hinges on their branches, which makes it very easy for them to turn upside down and collapse down. Saves a little bit of crushing and makes it easier for self-storage, as opposed to some trees are just wrapped around the branch. The second thing we're going to go through that's a big difference in artificial trees is most all of them are made with two different materials. One is polyvinyl, which is this material right here, commonly called PVC. The other type we can see over here is polyethylene, commonly called PE. The advantages of polyethylene pretty much are that it does not crush. The PVC, or the polyvinyl, eventually after packing it and pushing it into itself here, will start to flatten out and crush a little bit, whereas the PE will always maintain its shape. The other advantage, of course, is that the PE is much more realistic looking than the polyvinyl is. One difference to note here on the PVC is when you get your tree at Hewitt's Garden Center, all of the PVC is a virgin PVC and a heavier mill than some other of the cheaper brands here. That just gives it a little bit more life before it starts to crush down and look a little bit out of shape. One other big thing to look at when you're going for to pick out your tree is going to be, there is a choice these days of LED lights, which is these kind right here. These kind right here, LED lights, as opposed to the old-fashioned or the commonly used here, which is an incandescent light bulb. Advantages of the LED lights are that they will last about 10 times longer than an incandescent light will, and they take about 1/10 of the power of an incandescent, which saves you some power money and also makes your tree last most likely more longer than we will as far as the lights go. One other advantage to the LED lights is you do have an option, like on this one here, of having them go clear or multi. And you can hold either way. You can hold the clear, you can hold the multi. We show it flashing back and forth to show that option. But that's an LED, which even goes another step further with what they call an RGB light set. This one gives you the option of all kinds of things. You can pick your color with the color sliding wheel there. Thereby you could do red for Valentine's Day, green for St. Patrick's Day, and on and on. You also have multi-functions with this. You can have it go like this. There's many different functions on there that you can do, flashing, changing color, but all the bulbs have all of the color options within them, which is a really nice feature if you want to change it up a little bit. One other thing to look at is when you're picking out your tree is, if you're not into doing all the shaping, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, that we do sell trees here that are what they call self-shaping. These are on a stainless steel wire. When you pull it out of the box, no matter how crushed it up it is like this, they immediately spring into place where they're supposed to be, and you're instantly shaped when you begin. One of the other differences that you can look for here, it's a convenience factor, is there is a pole light up as opposed to all of the lights going down into a wire and coming out the bottom. Some of these trees, like this one right here, the power is in this pole. So all you do when you put your section on there, you plug in the one light at the bottom, you line up the two holes, put it back in, get it in the right place, and the power is in the pole. Another really nice convenience factor that you don't have to mess with all the plugs and the lights again. Now we're going to do a quick tutorial on shaping up your tree. A couple different types of trees, couple different types of shaping here involved here. The first thing, when you get your LifeLike tree at Hewitt's, most all of our trees come in either 2 or 3 complete sections. Easy enough. I'll show you on this top one. Here's the top section is plugged in. Just drop it into place. It's 2 or 3 sections. All of the branches are hinged, so you're pretty well done. Your next step on this is going to be to shape up the tree so it looks like it was supposed to look and as realistic as possible. Couple things you'll see on most of the trees here, you'll find that there's the polyvinyl material on the inside. The best way is to go all the way back, do it around row by row. On the inside, at the very back end here, you want the trees almost at a 90-degree angle. And then as you work your way out the branch, you kind of bring the branches down a little bit more and more until they get to be almost down to a 15-degree angle before you get to the polyethylene at the end. With the polyethylene, it comes sometimes out of the box, crumpled up like this. The best thing is to show as much as you can, give it a little bit of an opening, and sometimes just a little bit of a bend down to give it a natural look like that. One other part on when you're shaping your tree that you'll find many of the trees that you get at Hewitt's Garden Center, for instance this one here, will come in and they have what's called Y branches on most all of the branches. Those Y branches will come in somewhat like this when you open the box. Those Y branches don't go quite to a 90 degree, but 45 degrees or so. Make sure you open them up to fill in the bottom row and also to show as much of the material as you can. Again, going for that really realistic look. Best thing also, keep in mind when you're working with your tree, it's always a good idea to shape it up while it's lit, just in case you should happen to knock a bulb out or something as you're bending the branches in there. You'll know right away where that bulb is so that you can get it back in tight where it belongs, and you'll be all set there. Now we're going to talk about when the season is over here of maintaining and putting your tree away until next year. One of the most important things here and the biggest problem we see is when you're putting your tree away at the end of the year, you should look. For instance, right here, we have a burnout bulb. Eventually, and pretty much only on incandescents, but eventually some of the bulbs will reach the end of their life and burn out. The best thing to do is you just have to open this light clip that's on here. All Hewitt's trees come with a lamp lock to avoid them getting knocked out accidentally. Pull that bulb out. All trees come with replacement bulbs. Just put a new one in there, lock it back down, and you're all set. The reason you want to do this, as bulbs start to go out, you get more voltage in the remaining bulbs, which will make their life a lot shorter and burn out. So always a good idea at the end of the year, even again maybe at the beginning of the year, just take a quick look and see if you have some burnout bulbs and replace them with the ones that come with your tree. Another thing to do is when you do put it back in the box, and by the way, all Hewitt's boxes come with an extra heavy-duty mill cardboard, which will keep them from crushing and falling apart over a lot longer time. Put it back in the box, you just take each section out, you turn it upside down, it will fold up, put them in the box carefully a little bit, try not to break any bulbs or crush them. When you store it away, it's always a good idea. Trees do not like to be excessively hot, excessively cold, and definitely not in the sunlight, which will eventually start to break down some of the color in your tree. But put it back in the box, try and keep it in a spot that's not too hot, too cold, check all your lights over, and you should be in good shape for next year. Again, at Hewitt's Garden Center, we strive to make the best, most realistic, longest lasting tree that you can find anywhere here. Some of the reasons, as are noted on the signs right there, why ours tend to be better than others. We have the easy up hinges, which makes it easy to collapse down, easy to drop in place when you build the tree. We have heavy gauge steel, pole, hinge, and stand. All trees come with a free stand. We have super bright light sets on the incandescents. They also have a lamp lock on incandescent and LED, which keeps the bulb from accidentally being knocked out or pushed out. All of our light sets also are, if one burns out, the rest will always stay lit. We also have an easy on and off switch pedal. The switch pedal is at the bottom of your tree. Step on it to change the color if you have an LED color changing tree, or step on it to turn it on and off, thereby saving you go to search down the plug. We have extra heavy-duty cardboard on our storage boxes, saving any kind of crushability. All the materials we use are very fire retardant, and one of the best parts is, because we make such a nice tree, they're guaranteed for 3 years, stand to top. Lights, construction, everything is guaranteed for 3 years. Within every Hewitt's Christmas tree box, there is a troubleshooting guide, mostly as it relates to the light sets. If you get a light set that goes out, follow that troubleshooting guide. 90% of the time, that will fix it quick and easily. If you go through that troubleshooting and still have problems with your lights, feel free to call your local Hewitt's Garden Center, and we'll be happy to help you out.